Two major LGBTQ plus groups are fighting for attention and dollars. Next Saturday, October 22nd, the National LGBTQ Task Force will hold its major fundraiser of the year in Miami Beach. That same night, Pride Fort Lauderdale is holding their Halloween Extravaganza in Pompano Beach. In this week's SFGN, online now, or on stands tomorrow, I look at how we got to this point. Jeff Oliverio, chair of the task force gala and friend of the show, says there's a need for both groups, and it's unfortunate that they're happening on the same night. But the social distancing of the events helps. Kevin Clevenger of Pride says they attract two very different clienteles. But that doesn't change the fact that they're competing for attention, sponsors, and big donor dollars just days before the midterm election, one that could affect LGBTQ rights for decades to come. Pride's Clevenger says there just aren't enough weekends this time of year and wanted to avoid Halloween weekend when they compete with the bars on Wilton Drive and Saves Gala. That's similar to what they said last year when they held Pride the same weekend as the Smart Ride. And it's worth noting, Task Force has had this weekend for years and announced their event first. You can read more of this in SFGN online and on stands tomorrow. And Al, I also quote you in the article as you spoke for Happening Out, and we are premier sponsors for both events. But where do we come down on this?
Well, as I expressed when you reached out for comment, we're disappointed. We're disappointed because we can't participate in both events.
Right.
We are so deeply entrenched in the political moment of the time that we're living in at the National Task Force dinner. It is so critically important. October 22nd, there's a November 8 election. So we had to. And this event has been planned literally 19 years ago on this weekend. It is a metaphor. The other thing that I express in my quote to you is, it is a metaphor of what we've talked about in so many shows and community forums, of this contrast of what's going on about LGBT civil rights and our efforts in political versus our social implementations of the party and the drink. And my goodness, there's nobody that loves that more than me. But there are times when we have to say something must give. And right now, one of the times that it must give is the support of the task force dinner. And that, of course, is what I say to you in my quote. I haven't read it yet, but that's what I said.
I really wish that we could do both. I wish that I could do, you know me, Al, I love to get dressed up, anything for a good time, you know? But I mean, it's just impossible.
We were at this party last year.
Yes.
If you remember, last year at this party, I went as Fay What, and I was dream.
More like a nightmare, folks, but sure, dream. You know, and it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun, and we would have loved to support both of them, you know, if it was possible. It's just an impossibility, and with the political climate that's going on right now, we have to be at task force.
The really positive thing about SFGN taking this story on, I think, is we really have to give more attention to this. It's not the task force or Pride. It's a question of, why are we doing this? Why are we not working more,
collaborating on our calendars,
in our community and our calendars? We have 17 bars on Wilton Drive, and on Saturday the Get Out the Vote Center opens with the Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus and Dolphin Democrats. They don't compete with each other. They complement each other. The Pride Center works frequently as an island by itself. This voting center and the politics of the Dolphin Democrats and the caucus will work as an island by themselves, and they would encourage support. But this bar is going to stand alone, and this bar is going to stand alone, and this restaurant's going to stand alone. And that's really why I think SFGN is doing a great job focusing attention on this, because if we lose November 8th, we're going to be kicked in the teeth. We certainly shouldn't be kicked in the teeth in our own LGBTQ community. We've got to now talk about this and say it's reasonable, and how can we do a better job of working together, because we can. And that's the point of this story. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. like this broadcast, and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ+ community.